All right, good morning. I know I started the live stream a little early. Uh, really excited, still kind of tired, but I woke up this morning almost at 4 a.m. and kind of checked my phone, and to see Clove up huge right now. Even GameStop is looking like it's starting to push 300, maybe trying to open up above 300 before the day begins. Um, BNGO's up, AMC's up. A lot of the short squeeze kind of stocks, or the stocks that are getting a lot of hype right now, all seem to be up at the same time. But the biggest one that I'm excited about right now is CLOV. Um, let's see here. So, I think it's going to be an exciting day. Volume right now in the pre-market's already at 31 million, 31.5, which is insane in itself. I mean, normally you're lucky if you see a million volume, before the market opens, and we're at 31 million today. So the other thing that I was really excited about, and that so I've said it before on my some of my videos and stuff. I'm still invested in GameStop. I've been in since January, or even before that, since December. But one of the interesting things that I noticed with GameStop back in January, that I also noticed today with Clove, is the options chain was active before 6 a.m. And by active, I don't mean that you can actually go in and buy it, but let me see if I can change this over. The bid and the ask and the open interest has been updating all morning, even my prices. So like if I have my position sheet up, all my option prices on Clove have been moving all morning with the price in pre-market. So um, usually that doesn't happen. Typically, your option chain will just kind of stay frozen, and then at 6:30 a.m. when the market opens, now you can see the new prices. You can see what the new open interest is. But Clove has been updating all morning. Um, I'm not sure exactly what that means, but the only other time I've noticed that is kind of during that whole GameStop squeeze back in January, like when the big run up, that week. Every morning I could wake up at 5 a.m. and look at my phone and see where my options contract stood, which was absolutely insane. And that's happening with Clove right now. So um, I don't know what it means, but I'm pretty sure it's something good in terms of us and our price movement today. Um, other stuff. Is there going to be a dip today? If you watched my video last night, I was expecting a dip. I thought we would have some sort of dip. Either we would continue to roll today and see a dip later in the week with support at $15, or we can come out today and dip down and then take off and run to the all-time high. But that was before I woke up this morning and now saw this. I mean, so if you look, this is basically where we left off yesterday, was about $13, which was a huge aftermarket. I mean, we had a dollar run up in aftermarket. Um, so I was kind of expecting, okay, maybe we might dip back down to 12, find some support, and then take off, or um, you know continue this momentum, maybe pick up around 13, $14, continue this momentum to 17, and then fall back to 15 for support. But 15 should have been a major resistance level. We looks like we blew right past that just before I even woke up today. And now it's kind of going. Hopefully, we can hold this $16 support, into the market open. I'm hoping. But dips are also expected. So, especially when you gap up. So, I think I read somewhere, and I could be wrong on the exact percentage, but something like 90% of gaps get filled. And what I mean by that is, let's see if we can pull this up. So, you can see this orange line. This is a daily chart. This is where we finished yesterday. and this is where we're looking to open up right now. Um, you know, 90% of the time, gaps do get filled, meaning you would see like a huge, some sort of drop to come down and fill this gap to 12 before taking back off, um, 90% of the time. However, um, with the type of volume we have right now and the kind of momentum that we have moving forward, I don't really see them being able to drop this price that low. Um, that would shock me. I would say this is probably going to be one of those outliers, the 10% time where the gap doesn't get filled and we just continue to roll. Just to put it into perspective, with 32 million today, AMC last week when it had that huge run up, and a lot of that had to do with options. Their option chain at the time went up to 73, and that's as high as the stock went. CLOV today only goes up to 22. That doesn't mean that's as high as it can go, but that's where we're going to kind of lose our support with the, gaining that extra fuel from the option chain. But to put it into perspective, I want to say AMC that day had about a billion in volume, which is twice its float. Um, you know, so I think if we don't necessarily need a billion in volume to get like some crazy movement like that. Um, what we would need is maybe 2 to 3 times the float. So the CLOV float is somewhere around 100 million, 110 million. So if we can see 300 million volume today, 400 million volume, 500 million volume, which right now we're at 32 million, and the day hasn't even started. I think the possibility of this stock, and I don't like to set. If you saw my video last night, I don't like to set lofty targets and things like that. But I could really see where this thing has the potential to maybe run up 50 to 90%, 100% today if volume stays the same and increases. You know, options activity. I was able to figure this out. If you watched the stream yesterday, I wasn't able to figure out how to get the level 2 data and all that, but I got it in there today. Um, so if you look at the level 2 data, yesterday there was a huge gap in not level 2, but the options data. Yesterday there was a huge gap in open interest at the $13 and $14 strike. Those have almost doubled, and you see about 10,000 more calls even at the 11 and 12. The 15 has increased dramatically, and now we also have 10,000 at the $20 mark and 19,000 contracts at the $22 mark. This is all huge because now this is really set up for a gamma squeeze. I would imagine when market opens, IV is going to be through the roof, and if we can really see like a huge push up and break 17, which kind of seems to be where all the resistance is at right now, and all these contracts come into money, things are going to get pretty interesting. Um, Let me check these comments real quick. Looks like we got 88 people in here right now. Thank you very much for being here. I don't know when you came in. I just started broadcasting and started talking. Thanks for the support. If you can hit the like button, or even help share this with friends or try to get the word out, I think it's important. That one of the reasons why I wanted to do this live stream, I've been making these videos for about CLOV for almost 2 months now. But I feel like if we can get more people on the live stream and get people in here, that'll help draw attention to CLOV and maybe create more buzz and create more buyers. Although I feel like we got a ton of buzz right now anyways. I think the stock was the most mentioned on Wall Street Bets yesterday, which should provide for a lot of volume, maybe even why we're seeing more volume this morning. Um, I was trying to even post this stream on the CLOV subreddit, and I guess they must have, because they have new members. I don't have a lot of Reddit karma, so I went in there and I was able to comment and post on stuff yesterday even. And then this morning I was trying to post in a mega thread about this high volume. I was trying to post about some other stuff, and I keep getting removed. It says I'm too new, so I think they must have upped their karma requirements or something like that. But if you guys want to help out and try to drive some traffic in here, I would greatly appreciate it. But either way, I'll be in here again today. If you were in here yesterday, I think I signed off the stream at um, quarter to 9 on West Coast time, Pacific time. I'm gonna try to stay on a little longer today, especially if things are moving. I had fun doing this yesterday. If you were in here yesterday, I hope you had fun watching. And as long as people are coming in and, you guys are enjoying it, I'll keep doing it too. I enjoy talking stocks. I enjoy sitting here. This is what I do anyways. I'm sitting here looking at stocks all day anyway. So if I can sit here and watch it with other people and talk with other people, it makes it more fun for me. So, um, other things, I talked about the options. Open interest is really pouring into this right now, which is going to be huge for, setting up a potential gamma squeeze. I was able to get also, like I said, the level two. It's probably kind of small, and if you're looking at this on a phone or anything, but somebody had asked yesterday to kind of explain a little bit more about the level two that I was looking at because I kept looking at my monitor over here and I couldn't figure out how to get it on the stream. So this is only my second stream. Still figuring this stuff out, but um, the way this level two data works is everything that's over here on the left is all buy orders. So, right now, this big buy order of 5,000 shares is at 1620. The price of the stock right now is at 1626. So that's showing that someone out there is willing to buy 5,362 shares if the stock drops. So it could kind of give you ideas of where support is. There's also at 17,237. There's looks like there's a buy at 1605, 17,000 shares. So, you know, that's showing that if we fall that low, there's buy orders there willing to come in and support the stock. Now on the right side of the screen, you see the sell orders. So this could be shorters. It could also be people who own the stock that are just looking to take profits at certain amounts. But you like to look in here for the same reason to see where we're going to find resistance, where there's going to be those walls that are harder to break through. Right now, I can see there's 20,000 shares at 1660, meaning, we're at 1614 right now. Once we climb to 1660, it's going to take 20,299 shares to break through that number. Other major support levels or resistance levels, 25,000 shares at $17 seems like a big one. 1725. So, and this changes throughout the day, but I usually like to keep it up and keep an eye on it just to kind of get an idea of where we might find some resistance. It makes it a little bit more interesting to watch. And then sometimes, like yesterday, I called out, hey, there's almost 30,000 shares or whatever it was at a certain level, and we just blew right through it. So that's always fun too. Let me check these comments real quick. And again, thank you guys for coming on here and supporting. I appreciate it. Let me see. I'm learning how to do this too. So I got, like I said, today's it's only my second stream. So thank you, Nick. I appreciate it. Jesse, thank you. Mark says he's long on CLOV. Me too. I got CLOV. Yeah, so I didn't really, I know some of you guys have been in CLOV for months. I got into CLOV a while back in, I want to say January, when it was at its peak. And as it started falling off, I cut it short for a loss. It was kind of intended to be more of a swing trade. But, I didn't really get back into CLOV until kind of like mid-April. I'm glad I did. I believe in the company long term. I thought I found a pretty decent entry point. And, like I said, things are exciting right now. I plan on being a long-term shareholder now. Like button was smashed immediately upon entry. Thank you. I appreciate it, Drew. Mikey B, thank you. I appreciate it. Absolutely. What's up, Coach? Told you 14 was nothing. Believe me now. Yes, I do. Absolutely. Are these hard to read? Should I move this somewhere else? You know what I'll do? Let me adjust this. Sorry, guys. Like I said, this is only my second stream ever. I'll put these down here. That way they're a little bit, maybe a little bit easier to see. Something like that. All right. Um, Also, one other thing I want to point out, if you guys, one thing that I noticed yesterday, like I said, it was only my second. This is only my second stream. Um, you know, if you got any questions, I'm not a financial advisor, but I do have a lot of experience in the stock market, and I like talking. And if I know the answer, or it, I enjoy the comments. So if you leave questions in there, and it gives us something to talk about while we're sitting here watching the stock, by all means, I want leave some questions, leave some comments, anything, kind of get keep the conversation going. Um, oh, Manny, thank you, I appreciate it. So anyone who came in late, I know. Well, one, I was supposed to start at 6, and I was too excited, so I started about 15 minutes early. So basically, you know, I was expecting. I just went over this. I was expecting this stock. If you watched my video yesterday, we ended yesterday, at about $13. I was hoping that if we can come in and open the market at 13, maybe we would be able to blow past 15, which I saw as the next resistance. I was wrong, and I'm happy I was. We blew through $15 before I even woke up today. Pushed almost 17, and that was where we really found the resistance. And I think that's going to kind of be our next battle today, unless we could just rip through this right when the market opens. That would be absolutely amazing. Um, so last night when I was talking, I was kind of looking at this more along the lines of if we can go rip past the all-time high, which is, you know, up here, 1757-ish, then maybe we can hit 18, but we would probably end up falling back to 15 by the end of the week. I would say things have changed dramatically now. almost 35 million volume in the market hasn't even opened yet. So I'm expecting big stuff today. Now, aside from that, one thing I pointed out earlier, right when I started the stream too, is that somewhere around 90% of gaps always get filled. And what I mean by that is if we really start today up here where this orange line is, in the $16 range, that leaves a huge gap on this daily chart. Typically, those get filled. So it wouldn't be shocking to see the stock drop down to this level and then rally back up. However, my expectation right now is this is going to be one of those 10%. Um, yeah, let me see if I could turn my volume up. My volume's at 100. I think I'm talking low because my kids are still sleeping. I'll try to speak up a little bit. Sorry. Um, all right, so I would expect today to be one of those 10% where the stock doesn't fill the gap. I mean, we have a ton of volume right now. AMC last week I think hit about a billion volume on that huge run up day, and um, you know today we have a much smaller float. This float is almost 5 times less than that. So in comparison, if we saw a 200 million volume day, 250 million volume day, that would be similar volume to what AMC saw on the big run up last week. That doesn't mean we're going to get the same results. They also had a much larger option chain. That option chain went up to 73, which helps, and our option chain only goes up to 22. I thought that they were going to expand the option chain today, um, and that didn't happen. Let me see why I can't expand this real quick. Oh, here we go. All right, so today's option chain only goes up to 22. Maybe when the market opens, they will. Maybe they'll do it tomorrow. But usually, from what I've noticed, it seems like the option chain usually is about 50-50. So if the stock's trading around 10, you'll see, the the options will go up to about 20, somewhere in that range. Now, if we close today at 25, I can almost guarantee you tomorrow the chain will go to 50. But I kind of thought that we would see that today. We didn't, which was interesting. But what we did see is a ton of more open interest pile in here, which is going to be great to fuel this rocket as we lift off today. Okay, so these weren't in double digits. You know, now it's at 12,000 at the 13 strike, 10,000 at the 14 strike. $15 is going to be huge. And when we open above that right now, hopefully, you know, in the next 24 minutes, uh, those are going to kind of be in the money and be able to, you know, now have to be hedged even more. I'm not sure if the market makers' algorithms actually do start hedging in pre-market. If they do, that could be a little bit of what we're seeing. You know, a lot of this volume could be because we ran up so much yesterday and even in after hours that now they had to start hedging some of those shares. Hopefully that's not the case, and they got to start hedging them when the market opens. But we'll see what happens. Um, and you know this $20 strike still now, and $22 strike, 10,000 and 19,000. Those big numbers are important. You know, the bigger the numbers, and as we pass those numbers, those shares need to be hedged, and that just helps push us even higher. All right, let me check something out real quick. Right. Also, if you you know, I'm in on GME and BNGO. I know a lot of people are just CLOV. That's totally fine. But I'll be watching these stocks too. I keep the SPY up here. I explained this yesterday. I like to keep the S&P 500 up just to kind of give me an idea of what the market's doing. A lot of times when the S&P 500 starts dipping, you'll see other stocks dip as well. But if anybody else is sitting in here today and they have another stock they're interested in, they want me to throw it on this where the S&P is, I'll do it. I still have 12 other stocks over here on this screen as well. Um, all right, let me look at some of these questions real quick. What's going on here? So, where did I leave off? Great informative videos, been holding since May. Average of 954. Wondering if you all think I should average up today. We're waiting on the potential dip. That's so hard to say, Jesse. One, I don't want to tell you what to do. If I was in your shoes, I mean, it all depends on what you're comfortable with. I think this stock is absolutely going to run higher. It could dip, but like I said, I think that it also could just break out like yesterday. You know, if you look at yesterday, we actually, this is going back a little now, but we started the day, it had closed at 9 on Friday, and we opened yesterday at 9:50, so we were already gapping up, and I mean, it just continued to roll to where you did not see a dip. I was before this morning's pre-market, I was expecting a dip today, but I don't know now. I mean, I could really see this thing just absolutely taking off. So it's really hard to gauge. I don't think anyone knows what's going to happen. The other thing that I kind of think too, I don't know if anyone's been kind of following the news and all this talk about naked shorts. And, you know, I think some hedge fund got fined by the SEC, and there's been all this kind of talk about it. And it seems like the SEC is really um, digging into this now. And that could be scaring off some of these people that have been doing some of the more illegal, manipulative stuff. Um, if that's the case, we might not see this stock get controlled as much by shorters, right? I mean, that's just speculation. I'm just throwing an idea out there, but I could absolutely see that being the case with what's going on right now too. If a lot of the stuff that's been driving Clove specifically down, or holding GME down, or you know some of the other highly shorted stocks that people are watching, if they've been pushing these things down with, you know, illegal manipulation tactics, naked short selling, and things like that, which I think people assume is the case, then maybe they're not going to be able to do that anymore. Maybe that's why we're starting to really see these things pop and not get pushed down. Like I was expecting yesterday to even get hammered down at some point, and we didn't see it. So um, prior to this morning's pre-market, I was expecting a dip today, or maybe even a rally and then a dip tomorrow. But with the amount of volume we have in, 36 million now, I'm thinking this thing's just going to rip right off the open. Hope that answers your question. Um, Pretty new to this, but excited about CLOV. I'm absolutely excited about CLOV too. Um, you know, um, I think this is going to be an awesome day, just based off the volume that's coming in. And if you just joining in, I read a post last night that I think CLOV was the number one mentioned stock on Wall Street Bets. Wall Street Bets has a ton of users. I think they're in like the $10 million range. So that's to be the number one, or not $10 million, but 10 million user range. And to be the number one ticker, above some of the other big names that are out there, should hopefully supply some momentum carrying into today too. Um, been in for a minute with CLOV even before the Hindenburg BS. So that was actually when I got screwed the first time on CLOV. I'm talking about the first Hindenburg report that came out, not the one just recently with earnings. Um, and that's when I got out because the stock was just dumping, and then I bought back in at a lower price. But it's good to see people that are holding. I know the pain. I've been holding a bunch of GME here. I don't know what your average is right now, but you know, um, hopefully you're in the money because I think this thing's going to go a lot higher from here. Um, should I average up, and what time should I buy at? That kind of goes into the question I was just answering right there. I don't really know, and I don't like to give people advice on when to do it. Um, you know, sometimes, and I make a lot of bad decisions too. I'm not always 100% right. I like to go with my gut. Um, there's been times where I've seen pre-market action like this, and you end up buying up here. At the top, you see this pre-market action, and you're like, oh, it's going to keep rolling, and then it comes tumbling back down, and then you're kicking yourself that you did it. Um, but if this thing just rips at market open, then you're going to be mad you didn't jump in. So it's really hard to gauge. I think typically at market open, you'll see a lot of up and down. If you ever watch those bars, we could even kind of back this up to yesterday's market open, um, just to get an idea of what I'm talking about. But you know, yesterday the range right at open was right in here between 940 and 952. And as you can see from this candle, it dropped all the way to 935 to 962, all in that opening candle. So the reason I bring that up is if you wanted to look for, to get the best price, one thing that I've done in the past is, and this all depends on where we're at market open, but assuming we were like right here, you can kind of see where this range is. I mean, it goes all the way to 1482 up to 1724. So if you wanted to put in if this was like right now, market was about to open, maybe put in an order at 1550-ish, and see if we get those big candles, that big up and down wick, and you'll get filled. The bad thing about that, one, make sure it's a limit order, not a market order. Otherwise, you're going to get filled at the worst price. But the only bad thing about that is if it just continues to rip off. But if that happens, cancel your limit order, go in, just buy it and jump on the train, right? Um, in terms of, you know, where we might, level two's even filling up with a ton of orders now. Earlier when we were looking at it, we were talking about support down here near the $15 mark. I mean, now you got a ton of orders coming in. 1625, 20,000 shares, 1620, 12,000 shares. So, like I said, I'm assuming this thing is just gonna rip as soon as we get started. Um, let me see here. Volume's good on my end, but I'm wearing headphones. Okay, did that volume get better too? I tried to speak up a little too. Like I said, I was trying to keep it down. My kids don't usually wake up till 6, so I was trying to, keep it a little bit quiet. Um, August is up to 30 now. Okay, so that's the on the option chain. Let me take a look at that real quick. We'll go back over here. So we're looking at June right now. Um, oh, here we go. Yeah, August goes up to 30. So yesterday, I noticed there was also a ton of call sweeps in that came in for August, which also helps, right? So the June chain has been getting loaded up. Even these calls, like we're looking at August right now, you got the 17,000 at 10, 15,000 at 12.50, 21,000 and $15. All of that needs to be hedged at some point. So, and the delta on those is probably significant as well. When they're deep in the money, the delta on those is even going to run up to 1.0 and things like that. And that's going to all, play into that whole hedging and fuel. It's not just the June chain, but to see that went up to 30, um, I don't remember if that was there or not, but I'm assuming it wasn't. That's awesome. That gives more people an opportunity to get in because even if they don't put it on the June chain, it looks like a bunch of people have already jumped into this. Um, and if we roll up and roll past 30 this week or next week or whenever, all this is still going to have to be hedged. And every time we move closer and closer to it, it's just going to keep running up that delta and helping to add fuel to the price. Let's go back to June. And they still may add something in here. We'll see what happens. Um, did you expect such a good pre-market? I sure as hell didn't. No, absolutely I did not. I made a video last night, you know, just to kind of wrap up the day because I was excited about the after hours, that dollar in after hours, and I was just hoping that we could open the day somewhere around like hold that 13. Even if it dipped in pre-market, let's hold 12 so that we can get back above 13. I was not expecting to go on this run in pre-market at all. And that kind of changed my outlook, right? Like I went to bed last night thinking, okay, if we can get up to $18 Tuesday or Wednesday, and then expect a dip and hold 15 for support, that'll give us some nice momentum to go into next week. Because $15 ending the week at $15 would have been great for this stock considering where we were. Um, last week where we closed, I think around 9. So right now 1667, and if we can kind of doesn't look like there's a ton of resistance right now again until $17. That's going to be the major battle. 30,000 shares now, 31,000 shares at $17. So that's going to be the point that I think make or breaks today. We might go up and hit 17 and bounce off it a couple times. Doesn't mean it's over. It just means we're probably going to get some pullback before people load back in, and then eventually we'll probably bounce past it. I think we're going to have the momentum to really blow past 17 today with no problem. 38 million volume now, and the market still hasn't even opened. That's more volume than most of the days CLOV was trading at this year. Okay, so I mean that's already almost 40%, 30% of the float has been traded in pre-market. That's insane. Um, for those of you guys that are on here, I appreciate the support. If anybody, tell a friend, like the video, want to try to drive as much traffic in here as possible. I know I said it a little bit earlier, but I feel like the more exposure we bring to CLOV, the better, right? So the more people we can get in here to start, watching the stock, talk about the stock, and just, be exposed to it, maybe we can get even more buying. Although I think we're getting a ton of exposure as it is right now with all this volume. Um, I said it earlier too. I tried posting the stream in the CLOV subreddit, and I guess they must have changed the subscriber or the karma requirements, because I don't have a lot of karma. So I was trying to post the stream in there and it was getting kicked back. And I was even just trying to comment in the mega thread about this unreal volume, and I was getting turned off on that too. So it wasn't allowing me to do anything. So I think I just don't have enough karma to do it. But if you guys could help at all, kind of help drive some traffic in here, I greatly appreciate it. Um, all right, let me keep looking here. We still got 9 more minutes before market open. Hey, Coach, what's up? How you doing? What's your personal risk tolerance for Clove? Um, you know, I have some long-term options and some shares that I'm not planning on selling at all, because I feel like this stock is like my long-term options. I'm talking they're like 2023s. So no matter what happens, I'm probably going to hold on to those, because I mean, unless we get into like some crazy numbers, then I might consider selling those. But in terms of that stuff, I'm going to be looking to hold those super long term, because I think that this company, you know, is just starting to nibble at their market right now, and they have a lot of room for growth. Um, they're very undervalued. 16 is probably where the stock should be trading at, maybe even closer to 20. Um, you know, but if you start to compare it to the other similar type of stocks in that sector, this probably should be trading even at about $30. And then the AI is what makes Clove even more unique, and it makes it disruptive where it's at. So I know you didn't ask a question about my thoughts on Clove, but I guess what I'm trying to say is my long term stuff I'm gonna hold. I have a ton of short term options that I'm not looking to sell. Probably the way this price action is looking now, I'm not gonna even look to try to offload any until $30. And I'm not saying $30 is a sell point. It's just the way that I normally roll with options is, you know, I think I'm sitting on about 40 of them right now that expire on June 18th. And so I'm not even going to look to offload a little bit of them until we get to that point. And that all depends on price action too. But I have a high risk tolerance. You know, I used to do a lot of sports betting, and I don't anymore. Now I kind of I play stocks, right? I look for good investments, and I'll put my money in there. But at the same time, I also like to take risks. I play a lot of options. I like to leverage my money, and try to make more. So I hope that answered your question in terms of risk tolerance. Um, Robin says, "Hey man, thanks for your videos. You're welcome. I appreciate it. Thank you for the support." Um, our clove grew over 20% yesterday alone, 25%. Yeah, and I think that's why they kind of changed the karma requirements, which I understand, because as a member of Wall Street Bets, and then even like the Super Stonk and GME communities, I've always been like a silent lurker, but I've always been sitting in there watching and reading. I love to read, and so just sitting there watching the transition and the change of those communities and those subreddits, I could see why karma requirements and all that kind of stuff would need to go up, because you get a ton of people in there spamming and putting a lot of bullshit in there that you don't want that just clogs it up. So I totally understand it, and that's probably why they did it. Or maybe it's just something with my account, but I mean, I wasn't even trying to promote anything. I was just talking about this insane volume, and my comment got kicked back. So I'm assuming it was a karma thing. Put me in, coach. Clove's ready to play. Absolutely. Let's see here. Thanks for your video therapy. Now, who remembers the 633 days? It's our time. Yeah, that wasn't too long ago either. I mean, you know, May 19th? And March 5th. I've been in Clove, since then for sure. I think I got back in somewhere around, or no, not March, my bad. I got back in somewhere around here. Um, but yeah, I absolutely was was down here for the $6, and it feels good right now. It feels real good to be approaching $17. I just hope we get this push we need to get through it. I think we will. Volume's high. Um, Gonna be exciting today. Um, Make a post on our club. Let me know it's you. I'll get you that karma. That's the thing. I don't think I can. So I was able to yesterday, and I'm not able to now today. Um, but maybe after this stream, I'll try it out. But yeah, if anybody else, wants to go, promote it anywhere, I think the more people we get in this stream, the better. It's just going to help out with, um, you know, drawing attention, drawing exposure to this. Stay through the sixes because I thought this day would happen. Absolutely. And that was kind of my thing too. Like when I first came back to Clove, if you're familiar with my earlier videos, this was kind of like in April, and I was way early. I was about a month early, but I was looking for a gamma squeeze in May. Just by looking at the options activity, everything else. But now holding on to those contracts and being in Clove for that month, I started to learn a lot more about the company too. And that's where I started seeing how grossly undervalued it was. And that's what made me a believer in the long term potential. And then all this short interest stuff started coming out and everything else. And when you're in a stock that you believe in long term, the short squeeze is just like the cherry on top, right? I mean, even if this thing doesn't short squeeze, we're still in a great stock. We're still in it for the long haul, and this is a stock that could be legitimately trading, above $50 down the road. Um, I've been reading on the subreddit, and I haven't mentioned it in any of my videos yet, but just to bring up, like, I said $30. I've been seeing a lot of posts that there's a share lockup with a lot of the original investors at 30, and even some screenshots of that. And I've been meaning to do a little bit more digging into it before actually speaking about it, like in a video or anything, because um, I was trying to do some research and I found some that also had a $15 mark, and so I'm gonna go dig back through and kind of see what the deal with that is. Maybe the one I'm looking at was old and this newer one was more updated, or what I'm assuming it is some investors came in with that deal of the 30 and some of them had different dollar amounts. But basically, for some of you that aren't familiar with it, because this was a SPAC and there was a pipe deal, um, some of the stuff that I've been reading on Clove that I haven't necessarily confirmed for myself yet was that this stock needs to be trading at $30, I think, for a period of 30 days before some of those original investors can sell. And that also makes this intriguing too, because, if we do see, a huge squeeze and it goes above 30, or let's say it even goes to 50 or 70 or whatever, it goes like AMC and really just rips the face off this stock. I would imagine that it's always going to come down and find some support above 30, only because those investors that want to be able to eventually sell their stock are going to maybe give it that support to keep it there. Because otherwise, if it falls back below, now they wouldn't be able to sell. So that's a good thing. And then the other part of that is we wouldn't have to worry about the share dilution that some other stocks have ran into recently, because these investors can't sell yet. These big people that bought in, that were the original investors in this stock, they can't sell until the stock trades above that amount for a while. So all good stuff, all good reasons to be in this stock. And like I said, I think the short squeeze is just the cherry on it. So um, what is a great volume day overall? What number would you like to see at the end of the day? Oh, sorry, I thought I put that up here. We're about to open too. We got 1 minute to the open, but I mean, the float on this stock is 100 million, 110 million, somewhere around there. So I mean, even that, to be able to trade your entire float in one day is absolutely insane. Um, AMC, the other, here we go. We're ripping too. Um, okay. I didn't realize I still had that app open. I need to shut that. Okay. So yeah, so it's looking pretty strong right now. So getting back to that volume um, question, just as a reference point, AMC last week when it hit 73 or touched 73 that day, I think had about a billion in volume. I could be a little bit off on that number. It might have been 1.2 billion, but that's basically double its float, right? AMC's float somewhere around 450, 500 million, and they had a billion in volume. So if we were to even see 200 million, 230 million in volume, that's double the float. That's should provide for a great day. Um, I'd mentioned earlier, I'm not sure if you were in here, just that the option chain itself cuts off at 22, which wouldn't provide us that same gas that AMC got. Their chain went to 73, and I think that helps. But you know, it doesn't mean we can't go past 22. Volume is volume. Buying is buying. If we had, there we go. Wow. So we busted through 17. Let me pull this. Okay. So, little bit of resistance at 18 right now, nothing major. If you guys remember, I showed this in pre-market. We had kind of some huge sell walls. Oh, there we go, 11,000 at 18. So that's going to be the next mark, and looks like we blew through that. The main thing is though, we want to hold this candle. A lot of times candles will go above a specific amount, and it's got to kind of close above there to kind of count, right? And this shit looks like it counts. We're at 1837 and still moving. Um, and it looks like the S&P 500 is going down, and it is not affecting this stock at all. So this is absolutely looking like it's going to be a great day. Um, Clove to the moon, absolutely. Um, all right. I need to check on something over here real quick. Yeah, these $10 calls are doing amazing right now. All right, so we're at 633. Let's see where this 5 minute candle closes at. But this looks like a really good open right now. I'm not gonna lie. And this is a lot better than what I was expecting last night when I went to bed. Again, if you're in here, like the video, please. Maybe that'll help drive some traffic in. We'll get in on that little YouTube algorithm or whatever it's called. Or share this video with your friends. If we can get some more people in the stream, that would be amazing. Um, the more the merrier. Um, Rich says, go Clove. This is incredible. Absolutely. Especially, like you said, anyone who's been holding since, you know, um, back in December, January ish. Uh, Absolutely amazing for you guys. I got in a little bit later, but I was still in around the $6 mark, 633 mark, and this feels absolutely great. All right, so a little bit of pullback. It would be great if we can hold 17 right here. At least be able to close this 5 minute candle above 17 and then maybe find support there for the rest of the day. Um, I know I talked about this yesterday. RSI. I know it. There's times where stocks will kind of roll above this 70 mark on the RSI for an hour at a time, but it's also an indicator of when a pullback's coming. I would say we're probably going to get up to this 90 range in the RSI before we see a pullback, but who knows? Um, but this is definitely looking like a bullish open. We got to close, above 1744. And just looking at level two, we have a ton of support at $17. It looks like there's a 41,000 buy there. So that should prevent us from falling below that. and there's a $42,000 wall or 42,000 share wall at 18 bucks. So looks like that's going to kind of be the battlefront right now, is us trying to get through 18. We break 18 and we'll see what's next. So I want to take a look at the option chain again. So again, it's 13 and 14 low, getting into double digits and the thousands is probably going to really help. $20, 22, no real significant changes there. And that's probably due to the IV just jumping up too. So um, I'm just going to check on my Thinkorswim app what IV's at right now because it's a little bit harder to get it on this other one I have. So the IV's jumped up to 200%, 300% for the June 18 calls. That's kind of high. I would imagine that's going to prevent a lot of people from really getting in here. I mean, even a $22 call right now going for it for about $4 a piece. That means you need to be at 26 by expiration, which is next week. Normally that would be kind of a bad play, but who knows? I mean, the way this thing's looking, now I've kind of set my sights a little bit higher. Like I had said earlier in the stream, I'm not even going to look to kind of sell my calls. I'm sitting on, just so you guys know too, just for full transparency. So I'm sitting on some $8 leaps that don't expire until 2023, which I'm probably not going to sell unless we hit some insane prices because I want to long term hold those and then eventually exercise them. But I also have some $10 and $22 calls that are expiring this on this June. Actually, I guess you can see it right here where it says position. But yeah, they're expiring next week. So I'm not looking to close these out at this point because I think this thing's going to keep rolling. And, you know, it's trading for 720 right now. Worst case scenario, let's say we close next week at 15, they'll still be worth $5. It's not really worth me selling them right now and getting out. Um, the 22s, I might consider depending on the price action, getting out of those at some point, but we still got a lot of time. Let's see here. 600 shares, average $9. Good job. Sounds great. Mr. Grover, CLOV ain't messing around. No, it is not. Let's see this thing bust past 18. 70 million volume so far. Love the channel. Been holding since April. Thank you. Appreciate the support. Yeah, that volume's crazy. It's actually 85 million now. 86 million. You must have left that a little while ago. But, I mean, this volume's insane. We're only 10 minutes into the market open right now. We're almost have the same amount of volume as the float. I mean, that's pretty insane. I know I've mentioned it already, but AMC last week when it ran to 73 was about double its float. So if we can get a 300 million, 400 million volume day, things should look pretty good. So Mr. Grover's not selling. He says he has 3 kids. He's not pulling out. Let's see here. Brian says, let's go. Absolutely. Let's do it. Okay, so anyone who just joined or anything, if you guys have any questions, comments, anything you want to know or talk about, makes the stream go a little bit easier too, especially when we're just kind of sitting here watching, watching different candles. I know I've been repeating myself a little bit too. It's just because I don't know who's been coming in and who came in late and that sort of stuff. So if you do have any questions, if you want to know anything, I'm not an expert by any means. If I don't know the answer to something, I'll tell you. I'll even look it up. But if I do know the answer or if I have experience in something, I'll also try to help you out with it. So we kind of same similar setup right now actually as yesterday in terms of what I mean by that is, we had a big wick, but then we came down and got some red. That's actually good for us establishing a breakout point. So, now if we can kind of, get past this 1760 and then eventually, you know, we already know we're gonna have this $18 resistance, but 19 will be our real breakout point now for the day. You know, because we've kind of established this wick, this opening range. If we roll past $19 now, this thing will really start shooting up. We are on the ticker of Market Watch. Okay. Okay. I haven't. That's one thing too. So anybody who was watching the stream yesterday, or even if you weren't, um, this is my first. This is only my second day using this trading view software. I typically use Thinkorswim, which is a product of TD Ameritrade. I love it. I think it's one of the best charting softwares around, but it slows down my computer and it makes my videos lag even when I'm just recording and not live streaming. So I switched over to this trading view and I'm still kind of learning it. So usually on my Thinkorswim, I have a little news ticker up where I can kind of see like all the stuff that's coming in for the different stocks that I'm watching, and I don't have that. Yesterday, I noticed that I didn't have my level 2 or my options data, and I figured out how to get that stuff back in. So I'm learning. Maybe by tomorrow, I'll have a little news feed somewhere over here that I can check out as well. Um, just bought an at the money call for a swing. Okay, yeah, absolutely. I'll do that a lot too. So sometimes if I see something, or even like right now, you get this dip. If you look at the options chain, you could jump in here and grab that for 350, and you're pretty much. And I know you said at the money, which is probably even smarter because of the price difference. You're only looking at a 50-cent difference. So yeah, if you were to come in right now and buy this $16 call for $4, as it jumps up, let's say we get to 19, you know, that's a quick $500 profit. So, not a bad strategy. It's one that I've kind of, done in the past too. Right now, I just have so much that I think I'm just going to kind of, sit this out and hold on to what I have. Um, okay. So we may be looking at a gap fill right now. Um, I hope not. Let's see if we find some support somewhere. Just looking through level 2, looks like there's a ton of support at 16. Um, but in terms of a gap fill, and I'm not gonna I won't stay away for too long. But if you see here, this is yesterday. This is today. Okay, so we have this big gap. That's a large gap to fill. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. But if it does, that's also somewhat normal. Um, 90% of gaps get filled. Even if you look at the GME chart from, January when it ran up to 480, in that same day it filled a gap of about $140, I think, before it ended up going on that run, and it filled almost every gap going up. So if this stock was to drop down to 12 today intraday, that doesn't mean this is over. It's like I said, 90% of gaps get filled. Okay, so anytime you see even a minuscule small gap or a large gap, 90% of the time it's going to get filled at some point throughout the day. Um, I'm hoping this is one of those 10% where we don't even look back and we just blow the roof off this thing. Let's see here, buying him more at 1650. Right on. I wish I had some more free capital to do that right now, but like I said, I've been loading up on CLOV for the last month, and I got so much in right now. I don't, and then the rest of my money, as I've said in previous videos, is over here. And wow, anybody that's on GME, we broke 300. That's actually going to be some great news for GameStop. You know, I know some of you guys are only here because you're in on CLOV. I've been very vocal. I'm in GameStop. I'm in CLOV. I'm also in BNGO. I got saved on that one. But with GameStop breaking 300, that's huge. That was about 6,000 calls that just went in the money. And the next stop for GameStop is going to be 350. You know, there's about 3,800 calls that'll go in the money if we can hit that. Um, but yeah, that's going to be amazing right there to kind of see that. I'm sitting on a 5:30 call that expires this week uh, for GameStop that I just kind of bought to see if this thing would take off, and that might help a lot on that one. Let me check this out real quick. No, I'm still down on that call. Um, So exciting stuff with GameStop coming in too. Shareholder meetings tomorrow. I know a lot of big expectations there. Um, Ryan Cohen to get voted in as the chairman of the board. The new board to finally announce a CEO potentially. Maybe announce about their, you know, some more of their pivot into e-commerce and technology, cryptocurrency, NFTs, all that kind of stuff. That's all speculation on what could be coming, but the main thing that I think kind of the GME community is waiting on is the vote count. If there's a vote count, if the company's going to release it to us, CLOV's pushing, looking to push past 18 right now. So if we can bust through, looks like 30,000, 27,000 sitting there, disappeared. If we can close above 18 and then try to make this push past 19, we're going to be off to the races. Um, so this could be huge. So yeah, with GameStop, the big speculation is the vote count, right? So I know AMC, a lot of AMC holders, a lot of my friends, you know, and people I've been following that are following AMC were hoping for this vote count last week to show, kind of prove that there would be naked shorts, and you know, because basically if your float, you know, for AMC, I think it's 450 to 500 million, somewhere in there. But if all of a sudden your votes came back and your votes were at like a billion, that means, you know, you had two times the amount of votes. That means you had these fake shares out in the market. That didn't happen, although their CEO kind of, you know, gave some speculation that he couldn't say anything because of legal, you know, the legality side of it, which could make sense too. So I'm kind of interested to see what happens with GameStop tomorrow. If GameStop, you know, reports that it's come in with 300 million votes, which is like triple their float, I think this thing's going to go wild tomorrow. If that happens, if the vote comes in similar to AMC, where it's kind of like, you know, around that same, you know, right around the float, a little bit more than the float, then maybe it could be that it's a legal thing, or it could be that both these stocks don't have the high naked shorts in them. I'm not sure. I believe they do, um, and I believe CLOV does too. There was some good DD that got put out on in the Super Stomp committee. You know, just about naked shorts in general, and you know some AMAs that went into the whole naked shorting, and just looking at it, it seems like it's a total market problem and not something that's just specific to any of the meme stocks. So I'm assuming that CLOV, if it's sitting at a 40 to 50% short interest that's being reported, it's probably got a ton of other shorts sitting in there that aren't being reported. Which, if this thing does squeeze, would be absolutely amazing. Um, Close, almost hit. Yeah, I know. I'm sitting here looking at it. We need to close above 18. I know we got up to about 18.20, but we need to see that candle close above it, and that'll be an indicator even to, you know, day traders and you know other people that are looking to hop into this stock for the short term to jump in, and that'll also help increase volume. Um, let's see here. Yeah, this is looking like a good day. And you know, one thing I keep bringing this up: S&P 500 is going down. So if you look at other stocks in the market, maybe other stuff you're invested in, you'll notice that a lot of those other stocks are probably going down with the S&P. We're not. CLOV isn't. GME isn't. Looks like BNGO is still trying to figure out what it's doing today. And I need to check on my calls on that because I'm still doing good. Still doing good. I'm gonna keep that rolling. Um, so it looks like this candle closed at a little bit under. It closed at 17.98. So now we're looking for this one to close above 18. You know, we win that battle, and now it's 19 for the breakout. Just looking at level 2, 65,000 shares at 18.50. That's going to be the next resistance point right there. If you're just joining the stream, thank you. I appreciate the support. Hit the like button. If you enjoy the stream, subscribe. I'm going to try to keep doing this all week. This is only my second stream ever. I'm off work for the summer. I'm having fun doing it, so I'd like to continue to do this. If people are enjoying it, people are coming on and watching it, I'll keep putting the stream out there. Also, if you can help out by sharing this, you know, anybody else you think is interested in CLOV or maybe even GameStop that's going to be watching these stocks throughout the day, they can sit in here and watch it with us. You know, and I think it helps bring exposure to the stock. Um, you know, so you know, anywhere that you think, you know, people might be interested in coming in here, if you could help share it and help me out, I'd greatly appreciate it. Is there a good level 2 on Thinkorswim? So the level 2 that I've seen, so this is my Charles Schwab app right here. You know, and I'm using this because it's not web based, but it moves a lot faster. Thinkorswim, uh, you know, slows down my computer, but I love Thinkorswim. So, you know, Thinkorswim's my favorite software of all. Their level 2 though doesn't seem to be that great. Um, you know, the level 2 on Thinkorswim only shows you for each exchange, and what I mean by that is, if you can see here, it's got like Arca. A lot of this is coming off the same exchange, which is kind of weird too. But you know, usually you'll see all the different exchanges, EdgeX, PSE, OTC. You see all these popping in. Thinkorswim only shows you the most current bid for each exchange. So meaning that, you know, this one down here that we saw at, where was it? Let's just say 7,000 shares at 18. I may not see that on the Thinkorswim level 2 if someone else on that same exchange has in a 5 share sell. That's all that's going to show. So, you know, I've been hoping that Thinkorswim puts out a better level 2. Um, I haven't seen it yet. Surpassed all-time high. Yes, we did. You know, that close even right here closed us above the all-time high. It looks like we're getting some pullback right now. Which, I mean, we saw this a lot yesterday too, right? We saw it go up, come down, go up, come down. And we're still in the early stages of this, as you know, the stock kind of figures out what its range is going to be on the day and everything. But I think with this type of volume, we're at 128 million volume right now. We've already, you know, had more volume in the first 25 minutes than the entire float. So this is looking really good. And going over to GameStop, sitting at 333 right now. You know, I think the big kind of level there would probably be, I'm just going to pull this out to a daily view real quick. I hope it only does it to GameStop. So we don't, all right, there we go. So just looking at the daily view of this, obviously there's the 480. But the previous all-time high on GameStop, you know, besides that 480, looked like it was somewhere right around the 350. And as soon as we passed 350 is when it got knocked down. I believe that was in March. So GameStop getting past this 350 mark is also going to be huge. You know, and like I said earlier, it went down a little, but somewhere around 3,000 options that'll also go into the money if GameStop can get past 350. So this will be huge. I'm watching this up here. Looks like BNGO is having a pullback. which is fine. I mean, it had I think a 30% or 26% day. That's expected. You know, before I went to bed last night, the video I made, I kind of said that I was expecting this, somewhat of a pullback, maybe even on CLOV, but not with this volume. I mean, this is insane right now. So I'm gonna take a look at the option data again and see if anything else um, kind of looks the same. You know, not a lot of buildup. We still have a nice gap between 16, 17, and 18 and 19. But if we can get to 20, that'll be huge to propel us to 22. And by the time we get to 22, once we get to this 22 mark, all these old options are going to be at one delta. I mean, they're going to, which means they need to be completely covered. And there's over 120,000, probably more than that now. This was yesterday, it was about 120. There's probably 200,000 contracts here, which is 20 million shares. I'm sure a lot of them are hedged already, but the higher we go, the more those shares need to be hedged, and it's just going to keep providing upward pressure. And as someone pointed out on this stream a little while ago, the open interest is also huge at other months, and these have to be hedged. This is July, $9, 16,000, $10, 26,000. So, these other chains, here's the August chain, 17,000 at 10, 15,000 at 12.50. These are all in the money right now. So these are all, options that, maybe sitting at like a zero point 0.6 delta right now or a 0.7 delta. And as we continue to go up, as we get to 22, they're probably all going to go to about a 1 delta, which is going to be absolutely insane for, that upward pressure it's going to provide. Let's go back to level 2. Sorry, I haven't looked at the chat in a little. Please continue streaming. I shared your link on Twitter. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate it. Like I said, I was trying to post this. I think if some of you guys found me the other day, I had posted it in the CLOV subreddit on Sunday night that I was going to do a stream. I tried to post it again last night and today, and I think I don't have the karma requirements anymore to actually post on there. Let's see here. This stock has, here we go, solid fundamentals, low market cap, high corporate retention, gigantic potential for less than 50. Come on, it's on sale. Absolutely. And I mentioned that a little bit earlier when someone was asking me about risk tolerance. I don't know why I started talking about the actual stock, but I guess what I was trying to get at was this is a great stock to be in long term too. So, and that was also my big reason for choosing GameStop over some of the other squeezes was to me, I saw the future of GameStop in the pivot to e-commerce and everything it has going for it. So it's like, I'll throw money into this stock because I feel like even if it doesn't squeeze, I'm going to hold this thing and be comfortable with holding it forever. And I kind of get the same feeling, or not even kind of, I do get the same feeling with CLOV. They have a very small portion of where they're at right now in their market, so they have a lot of room to expand. And their AI is the most intriguing thing because that could be really disruptive to the entire medical industry in terms of how they track patients. And to me, that's what makes CLOV so valuable is, the AI that they have, especially when it gets applied to the Medicare and everything else. Huge potential for growth. This stock could be seeing $50, $100 down the road as something that it holds. I'm not talking about short-term squeeze potential. I'm talking, a year from now, 2 years from now, maybe 5 years from now. This could be trading at $100 or more. And it could be a lot sooner, right? I mean, their earnings were solid last time, and we got hit with a BS short report. Next time earnings come up, maybe, speaking of that too, Hindenburg, the place that issued the short report, one of my friends texted me yesterday. I didn't actually go on there to check it out, but she texted and said that their website was down and that there was also some speculation that maybe they were getting in trouble with the SEC for market manipulation. I don't know if that's true because I didn't look into it, but that would be amazing. It seems like the SEC is really cracking down on a lot of this market manipulation, and that should help us continue to just steamroll, without getting hammered down like the stock got hammered down in May when we were looking for that gamma squeeze. or last week as we were trying to hit past 750 or some of these other critical keys. Same thing with GameStop. You know, um, maybe these shorts are scared now of getting in trouble, and they're going to stop with some of the illegal tactics. Who knows? Um, we shall see. And it's super shorted. Absolutely, that's what I'm saying. The short interest and everything else is just the cherry on the cake for, uh, for this stock. It's like Clove's going to be a good stock down the road. It's a good stock now, but it's going to continue to grow and continue to grow and continue to grow, which is why you should hold it. However, we also have this short interest thing, and why wouldn't you want to be a part of this if it does actually squeeze and it gets to some unreal levels? Now you can sell and take a profit, and then buy back in if you believe in the company, right? When it kind of comes back down to earth. Um, we got here. How does this gamma squeeze compare to last month? So, man, I'm tired right now. I'm not entirely sure where these numbers were, but if I could remember correctly, last month I think we started off somewhere around this $10 mark, and we had 30,000, 20,000 ish, 20,000 ish. So this is actually really loaded up the way that last month was. I would say it's very comparable, if not more now. And the only reason I say that is because last month, if you remember, we were trading down here, and it was kind of like, okay, well, if we can get past 10, maybe that'll get us to 12, and then that'll kind of steamroll us. I think this happened now. I mean, we've already kind of this is exactly what it is all these calls that win in the money have helped propel us up further and further and further. So in terms of how does it compare, I think the open interest is somewhat the same, but this time it actually worked. So this time it's working, right? And it still has a lot more room to run. The crazy thing is this chain doesn't expire until next week. So you can see it both ways. Um, they might let this thing run up and then really attack the hell out of it by like next Wednesday to try to knock it back down before everything actually expires. That could happen. Or they could just lose control of this because, like I said, I'm expecting them to add more strikes. I thought it would have happened today. It didn't. I thought they would have extended this chain. We saw it happen with some other stocks last week. I mean, just to, I think AMC was at like, the chain ended at $73. And then, it got all the way up to 73 that day. And by the end of the day, they had it at 140. So usually you'll see that. I would imagine we'll see it tomorrow where this chain will extend out to 35. And all that does is give an opportunity to kind of load it up some more, right? So as obviously people could still buy these but it's getting expensive. But as that chain gets more loaded up, now as we pass those numbers, it helps us keep going, just like it did getting through all this stuff. Um, when there are a lot of options coming into the money, the market makers hedge and buy the stock. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. You know what? Let me try to. I'm gonna pull this away real quick and just try to get the delta on here, just so I can see if I can. Let me see if I can figure this out. Bear with me for 1 second. So I'm gonna try to add the delta to this chain, just so that we could see how that works. Um, Column and setting. I want to see the delta. Where's that? Delta. And I'll drag this over all the way to here. Okay. All right. So let's go back to that option chain. Okay. So I put the delta up now. So the way it works is, okay, hold on. Let me stop for a second. It looks like we are. Oh, maybe I should just keep talking. Uh, it looked like we were getting ready to try to test that 19. Let me throw on the level 2 real quick and see what kind of resistance we're looking at. 40,000 at 1850. So it looks like that might have been what happened. We hit this 1850 mark and it just got rejected. So that's going to be the next major point. Looks like there's a ton of now it's at 40,868. So getting past this 850 mark is going to be kind of the next major point that we see. Um, so getting back to this option chain, uh, this number right here, over here on the right, and I don't know how big it is on your screen or whatever, but just looking at like, okay, this $10 call has a 0.98 delta, and there's 33 open contracts. Now it's got a 1 delta. Regardless, that means that every single stock that those contracts account for need to be hedged. So the market maker has to own all those shares. Now it's at 96, 97. So 90, that's 97 out of 100. But as we go up, so now if you look down here, the $15 strike, which is still in the money, but the delta on it is only 72. So that means that only 72 out of 100 shares need to be in the money. Okay, so as the price increases and as we get closer to expiration, the deltas just keep increasing and increasing so that anyone who sold a naked call on this, which is usually just market makers or big institutions, they would now have to continue to hedge. And it's not a decision that they make consciously, like sitting there clicking around. Usually they have computers with algorithms who are just doing it. So it works in reverse order too. As the stock price drops, delta will decrease, and now their algorithms will let loose of shares too. So it gives upward pressure and downward pressure. But with the momentum we have right now, the higher we go, and this is significant amounts, right? So 33,000 contracts accounts for what, 3.3 million shares? So and those all you figure we closed the day yesterday at what, 12, and then after hours at 13. I would imagine that yesterday this delta was probably at about zero point 0.6. So it moving up to 1 is about a 30% increase. So that's almost a million shares that probably had to be hedged, today just on the $10 strike. And that's only considering the June option. So if we pull out here to like, let's say July, the $10 strike, 26, that's 2.6 million contracts. That's already sitting at a zero point 0.9 delta because it's so deep in the money. So all of that stuff had to be, is continuously having to be bought to hedge their positions. And that's why, you know, I keep talking about hopefully if they expand the option chain and people keep loading up the deeper numbers, that'll help get us that fuel because we don't want to just get to 20. We want to get well past 20 so that another million shares have to be completely hedged. Because right now, of these million shares at the $20 strike, only about 550,000 of them are currently hedged. And that's that delta of 0.56, 0.55. You know, only there's 2 million shares sitting here, so only about a million shares are hedged with this. If we can blow past 22 to 30, that's another million shares just at the 22 strike that need to be hedged. So that's kind of how that whole gamma squeeze works and how the option change works and how the delta kind of comes into play. So let me go back and pull this level 2 up and keep looking through these comments. Oh, sorry. Okay, Clark. So I just saw your other in terms of volume. So no, we got way more volume right now. Let me see if I'll actually I'll pull this up real quick, and I'll do it on a separate, so we don't have to miss out on the 5 minute candle. So I got CLOV right here, and I'm gonna throw on put it on a 1 day, just so we can kind of see the volume comparison. Um, so just looking at the volume in general right now, where we're at, that's this candle, right here. And we're only an hour, not even an hour, we're 40 minutes into the day right now. This is already what? It's already getting ready to surpass this major day back here on April 19th, which was the biggest volume day ever for CLOV. So we're looking to surpass that right now. You know, this is this TradingView app. I can't see volume on here for some reason. I can see the volume bars, but I haven't figured out how to get the actual volume count. Otherwise, I give you the exact numbers. But we're looking, I would say within the next hour, this is going to be probably the highest volume day that CLOV's ever had. So this should be, take this back. I'm going to throw this back on the spot. There we go. All right. All right. Let me see here. So I shared you on Reddit. Thank you. I appreciate it. Really appreciate the support. And like I said, I think the more exposure that this gets, and I'm not talking about my stream, even other people's streams that are streaming clothes. Just the more exposure that the stock itself gets, and the more attention it gets, the better, right? The stock is grossly undervalued. We want people to come in as long-term investors and hold, but at the same time, if they also contribute, to the squeeze, and the squeeze does happen, even better, right? That's just the cherry on top. Um, Says I found this on Reddit. Thank you. Okay, so that's great to know that it was there. Um, and again, if you're new to this, if you want to, hit the like button and even subscribe, I appreciate the support. I'm gonna be trying to do this live stream every day this week. Yesterday was my first live stream I've ever done. I've been making videos on CLOV for almost 2 or 3 months now, but I decided to do the live stream because I sit here and watch these stocks all day anyways, and I enjoy talking. I'm a high school teacher, so I just spent the last year talking to a blank screen and felt like, on Zoom and all the kids have their screens off. So I kind of got some training for this uh, over the last year as it is too. Can't wait to get back to school though. Um, let's see here. Today we've been waiting for it, Coach. My $13 calls printed, which I honestly thought would expire. Still long with 1.2 shares. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said a little bit earlier in here. I have some leaps, which is you know, longer expiration. So those are 2023s, which I'm probably just going to hold forever. But I'm also sitting on some $10 calls, which are deep in the money right now. And I might even look to exercise those if this thing keeps moving. But I'm also sitting on some 22s. The 22s, that's for me, that's more of a trade. These 22s, as we continue to go up, I'll look to dump them for a profit. Maybe even sell. What I like to do with options is sell a little bit to cover my investment, and let me put some profit in my pocket, but then at the same time just let the rest of them go like a lotto ticket. So if I have 10 calls and I could sell 3 of them and for double my investment, that's a good play. I'll do that. Now I got some profit in my pocket, and I'll let those other 7 just ride. And let's see how high this thing can go. And that's probably what I'm going to be doing with these 22s. Hopefully if we blow past 22. And it looks like now we are approaching this breakout level. So I would expect to see some resistance there. Looks like we got 42,000 sell wall at 19, and another 12,000 sell wall at 1890. And shit, we just broke through it. But we got to hold. Okay, so in order for it to be really considered a breakout, we need this 5-minute candle to close above this level. So hopefully we're looking to do that right now, and that'll get this thing really moving. Sorry, I'm looking at this late too, so I hope I didn't. You weren't waiting to see to see what I had to say about this. But I have another 1,000 to put into. I buy shares or options. It really depends what you already have too, right? So with me, because I already have a long-term position, then I'm willing to go throw down some money and gamble on a short term position. So if you're already in for the long haul, I would say, jumping in on some options, that's kind of pricey right now at 450, but it looks like we're going to blow past 22. So, options are also going to give you way more leverage. I never like to tell anyone exactly what to do with their money. It's just, I can give you different ways to look at it, right? Um, Shares are safer, shares are in for the long haul. But if I was already sitting on a ton of shares, I would probably just throw in some options myself personally, just to get that extra leverage. And IV right now is somewhat high. Let's check. I just want to check before we look at these Junes just to see the difference. So I know IV last time I checked was about 300% for June, but July was cheaper. So if you come out to July, you're paying $2 more for $2 less of a strike. That actually seems like a better deal. So let me back this up and see. And let me explain that right now. That's actually pretty interesting. And that has a lot to do with the IV. So the IV on these ones that expire next week are actually, it's a lot higher right now than this July chain. So think about it this way. At $20 strike, if you bought these options right now for $6, you need this to be past $26 to break even. I mean, typically that's a big move, but not when we're seeing volume like this and this type of hype. So you needed to move $6. You need to get to 26 to break even. You go to the June chain, you only have another week to buy the $22 call. I'd almost say go buy the 21 here, but still, you needed to get past 25 to break even, and you're only giving yourself a week. With July, you're giving yourself 39 days to get past there. So I think this is actually a pretty decent call right now. I'm surprised it's not priced higher than that. And then if you look in at August, you just need to get to 27. That's not even that bad considering. Um, and obviously, if you're buying these options right now, this is more of a lotto ticket type play where you're banking on the short squeeze happening or something. Maybe we get this movement up to 30. While I'm sitting here talking, we did create that breakout. We're looking to run now. Happy you figured out your live stream. Me too. So am I. This is actually, like I said, it's pretty fun. I'm glad it kind of all is coming together. Um, I think I'm way behind on comments right now. Let me try to just kind of look through and see what's going on. Okay, so as we look at this right now, we broke past 19. I'm trying to see if we have any super resistance levels, and it looks like $20. And this is kind of what I had said in my video a couple days ago. I wasn't at the time. I wasn't talking about no $20 strikes or nothing, but you know, as you look at the options chain, a lot of times those will end up being our resistance levels. Not only that, but round numbers are also typically resistance levels. But if you look at this from a market maker standpoint, 10,000 shares go in the money at $20, almost 11,000 shares. That's going to be a significant number that they're going to try to suppress, right? And anyone who's short this stock that still has ammo and wants to keep shorting, which I think is absolutely insane that anybody would want to, they're also going to see that number and want to keep that suppressed. That's almost 1.1 million shares, and only 600,000 of them are hedged right now. So as we blow past that, that'll be another 400,000 shares that go into the money. Um, Definitely looking like an exciting day. Uh, Says Workhorse is squeezing today too. It's funny. That was the other one that was listed on there with CLOV, right? On that high short interest, and I was looking into that one too. But I mean, I've been in CLOV for a while now, and I didn't really want to kind of like spread my positions out. I'm already in GameStop. I'm already in BNGO, but I do think it's good to kind of always be diversified too. I know there's some people that are 100% in CLOV, and that's fine too. You're probably killing it right now. And I have a lot of friends that are 100% in GameStop and haven't, they're not, they didn't want to jump on CLOV or anything else because they wanted to, let this play out. And that's fine, to each their own. Um, $19 time, $19. See, I'm behind right now. I was over here talking and I'm missing a lot of these comments. L to the O. Such great insight from this guy. I found him from Reddit too. Right on, man. Thank you. I appreciate the support, and I noticed that you comment on a lot of the videos too. And I always try to go in there and kind of hit you back, or hit everybody back when I get a chance. It's just when I spend so much time sitting here watching stocks all day, and when I finally get off, I get busy with my kids, so it's hard. I try to stay off my phone when I'm not at the computer, just so I can spend time with them. I got a 7-year-old and 9-year-old. They're playing sports. And, oh my God, we just passed 20. Um, so yeah, but I definitely appreciate the support. And if I ever don't reply to one of your comments or something on the videos, I mean to. I just, I'm trying to get good at that. But I absolutely appreciate it. Um, 71 shares at 11:58 right now. You're killing it. You're almost looking to double up right now. Right on. So you're asking about the options question. Well, I'll put it to you this way. And again, I don't want to, you know, get into about telling people what to do, but so right now, if you were to buy one option, just one, it'll give you the movement of 100 shares, which is going to give you more movement than what you actually have in shares right now. So you'll start to see that leverage really kick in. So, maybe if that was my position, um, I'm not really sure how I would play it, but, maybe one contract and then keep grabbing shares with the rest just to be safe because, I mean, there's a ton of different ways you could skin it. I know some people that would come in and just say, "Nah, screw that. I want more contracts," and just buy two contracts. But contracts are risky, right? So at any point, this stock can get pushed back down, and if it expires out of the money, you lose it all. With shares, that doesn't happen. Um, what does it mean when the institution could sell Clove at 30? Is that good or bad? So I kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, but I'll go over it again. And the first thing I want to point out, and I could be completely wrong, is I tried to look into this, the whole $30 thing, because I saw some posts that I've seen on the subreddit, and I tried to look it up myself. And when I looked it up myself, I also found some other SEC documents too that gave different numbers. So my assumption right now, without doing my own DD, I haven't had time to. I want to really dive into it. Is that some investors got in with this $30 tag, and other investors got in with other price targets. Okay, but regardless, to answer your question, what it means is and specific to the $30 ones, there's some investors that got into this stock before it even hit the market, before it merged and everything, and they have a stipulation on their investment that they can't sell until the stock, I believe it's trades above $30 for 30 consecutive days. To me, that's super great because one of the biggest things that you don't want to happen when you get these nice movements and these big upward momentum, these squeezes, a gamma squeeze, or even just great news and the stock takes off, is all of a sudden these institutional investors who've been in since the beginning dump their shares, right? And then now that's going to create downward pressure, and they hold a lot more shares than you or I do or anybody else. So they can really affect the stock. Well, in Clove's case, they can't do that. They have to hold the stock for at least, it's got to trade above $30 for at least 30 consecutive days, is what I read on the subreddit. So I'm trying to answer your question, but I'm not saying that um, you know I haven't checked out that entirely, and I'm not saying it's untrue. I just hate to talk about stuff that I don't know factually, that I haven't dug into yet and know about yet. Okay, so I don't want to give anybody bad information. But in terms of what that is, I think it's absolutely great because they can't sell. Right now, they got it. Now they have to stay in the stock for 30 days, and that also gives them incentive to help keep this stock above $30. So if we were to squeeze and ride this momentum and start trading at $30, $35, $40, if we can get up there in that range, even higher, as it starts to fall back down, I would imagine that these institutional investors who need this to trade above 30 for 30 consecutive days are going to come in and give us some buying support, and kind of create a buy wall to not let the stock fall back below 30, which is great if you're a long-term investor and you're holding on to shares for the long term. I mean, that can almost become a new floor as people want to hold that there, you know, so that they can get out. So that's just my take on it. Um, what a price target. I have 312 shares of Clove. I bought it in February. You know what? I'm not an expert by any means. I mean, I've been day trading for a long time, investing for longer. I've been a part of some like, little mini squeezes in a day trade where something takes off and starts, we start seeing circuit breakers and all that kind of stuff. But in terms of, a price target for if this thing actually short squeezes, I have no idea. And I think that anybody who gives a price target, um, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to knock anybody else. I don't know if anybody has, but I feel like it's not really genuine because there's no real way to know. Um, I think right now we're nowhere near what the target would be because some of the data that was coming out, like the Ortex data and things like that. Um, you know, we're showing that the stock got even more shorted yesterday. So I think what we're seeing right now is the effects of a gamma squeeze and retail momentum. This stock was, I think, the number one mentioned ticker on Wall Street Bets last week. And so, I think right now we're seeing the earlier stages of this. I think once we kind of get past 20, 25 and hold there, maybe even 30, um, then maybe we'll start to see short start covering and we'll start to see some violent upward pressure where we start seeing these like halts and stuff. Um, and we'll just have to see where it goes. I mean, I have a lot of friends that I know I said that invest in AMC, and I was telling them for the longest time that I didn't think it had the ability to get past 25 or 30. I was wrong. I mean, that thing ran up to 73 last week, and it's trading above 50 now. So, I mean, I don't think anybody ever really knows, right? Um, we just got to kind of play it out, see where the volume goes, see where things kind of go. To me, this doesn't seem like a pump and dump. This doesn't seem like something that's going to spike up one day and just come crashing down the next. There's a lot of big institutional buyers in this stock. We also have the certain institutions that can't sell until it trades above 30. And this is a great long-term play. I hope I answered your question. Um, Real quick before I get to any more comments. So it looks like we're still trying to hold above 20. Okay, so if we can hold above 20, that could potentially become our new floor. Um, Not a ton of resistance right now. So the next resistance level looks like it would be 21. Just that next mark on the option chain. But if we can hold above 20 right now, that should potentially become a support level for us as we keep going. Um, GameStop is looking to, if it can hold this candle over here above 335, we should see that starting to run too, go on another run. Usually when you look for these breakouts, this was the old high. So now if we can break above that and hold above that, you'll see us start moving higher. Um, and we look like we're getting ready to push above 20 over here too. No real resistance. And I say real resistance because, I mean, this is a lot more volume and sell orders and buy orders than we saw yesterday. But just based on volume, we're now trading at 214 million volume on the day. That's double the float. So we're going to see larger orders, larger sells, larger buys. Um, I have $14 contracts. Should I exercise some and sell some? Which would yield the most tendies? It depends on your expiration date, right? So the way that contracts work, I'm assuming you have June expiration. So if it's a June expiration, there's not a ton of time premium in it anymore. Oh, we're going on a breakout right now. We got past 21. Um, yeah, this is This is looking nice. I'm looking at my contracts right now, and yeah, my GameStop's doing. This is looking like a good day right now, and we are continuing to move. Okay, so to get back into, so we absolutely held above 20. Oh, not sure what happened there. So we absolutely held above 20. Now it's the same thing. We'll look for a 5 minute candle to kind of keep us above 25 or 21, and then look for support there on a pullback. So to get back to your question, I'm sorry. So if it's a June expiration, every single day that goes by, you're going to lose your time premium. Right now, you have more premium and more IV. You know, the IV's high, so your the volatility is also going to help. The Vega is going to help like price that contract. But every day it gets closer to expiration, you're going to lose that premium. So right, and what I mean by that is right now, you know, it's a $14 strike and it's trading at 9. That means it's pricing the stock at $23. So I guess you only have 50-cent premium in there anyways. So that's kind of out the window because you're so deep in the money. So really it comes down to should I exercise some and sell some? What I like to do if I want to own the stock and I want to keep it long term, like I want to hold this past June 18th. I'll sell enough to exercise the rest, right? So right now you could get $1,000 for every contract you have. If you let this ride a little bit more, you might be able to get $1,400 for every contract, and then that means every contract you sell is another contract you can exercise, right? Because it's going to cost you $1,400 to exercise. So and yeah, while I'm talking, we're looking at pushing $24. This is insane right now. 1 second. Okay, so now I would say we looks like we're probably getting into a little bit of a squeeze. And I'm not saying that after this wick it's over, but I mean this thing is moving, and I can see it only going higher. 40% short interest, but a candle this high, I wouldn't be surprised to see a circuit breaker coming in right now too, um, which is good, right? Um, After the circuit breaker, if we get one, if no one's ever been involved in one, don't get worried. It's normal. So basically, if a stock moves more than 10%, I think in a 1 minute candle, they'll just shut it down. And after they shut it down, it shuts down for 5 minutes, and then from that point, after it shuts down for 5 minutes, it'll open back up, and you might see a drastic dip because some people got nervous and sold during that circuit breaker. But then it should pick up and take off. Sometimes it loses momentum afterwards, but I mean we got so much momentum in the stock right now. I don't see how that's going to happen. Um, Hank said you're really good at this. Thank you. I appreciate it. Like I said, I got a lot of practice. I just spent the last year talking on Zoom to my high school kids. Brian says you're doing well. Thank you. The stock's doing better, right? Let's go. So just to look at the option chain, I mean, we absolutely blew out the option chain now, and the delta still isn't at 1, so there's still a lot of room here. I mean, we're still, this $22 strike is only at a 0.67. So I'd like to see this stock get up to the point to where all of this is at a 1.0 delta. And then you're talking about millions of shares that still need to be bought, which I think is what's happening right now. Is these algorithms are having to, we blew out the chain, and these algorithms are having to purchase up these shares. Um, let's see. Yeah, I'm behind on these comments, huh? Broke 20. That was a while ago. My bad. Um, Manny says it's actually 90 days. Okay, and I could have misspoke. Like I said, I wasn't too knowledgeable about it, and I was trying to put that out there. So I was sorry about that. And Kane says the same thing. I heard it was 90 days. Absolutely, you guys are probably correct. So I had said $30 for 30 days. I guess it's $30 for 90. So absolutely, they have incentive to keep this stock afloat. These big institutions who bought in before we came out, they have even more incentive at 90 days. Um, let's see here. Drew says a share buyback would be the ultimate finish him. Yes, a Mortal Kombat, right? Uh, yeah, I mean, I've seen it happen with some other stocks where it actually, kind of put in some momentum. I'm not sure, if that's something that the company would look into. But that's always good to kind of get shorts out. Dividends, share buybacks, things like that sometimes could work. I know that's also some of the speculation, not the buyback, but the dividend. Talking about GME now because I know, like I said, I'm kind of in both of these. So with GME, one speculation is that they might announce a crypto dividend, which would also be huge. Keep going. Holy breakout Batman. Yeah, I'm assuming you sent that over here. Let's go. Let's keep this thing going. Um, why are my pants so tight? Um, coach saying 25 was a bit of foreshadowing. Let's see here. 24 million volume, 241 million. Shit, we're actually almost at 260 now. Um, okay, so let's see here. Just want to check out this level 2 real quick and see. So it looks like we have, I mean, there's buy orders all the way in, but 20,000 buy order at 22.26. So we should be able to hold maybe $22 as support, which is actually the top of the option chain. So that would be huge. And we saw some pullback. We didn't see any candles like this yesterday, but on all these big candles, we saw some pullback, which is normal, right? I mean, I kind of went into this RSI yesterday, 70. Anything above 70 is super high. RSI shows you, when a stock is either overbought or oversold. We have been trading in this overbought zone since 7:05, so for the last 30 minutes or so. So it wouldn't be surprising to kind of see this cool down a little, and get back to 70 and then bounce back off. This is all normal, and that's just going to help us reload and continue to move higher. Um, What do you teach? So I teach video production. Mostly, which is crazy, right? Because I'm sitting here doing the stream and I'm saying I don't know how to work all this, but it's a little bit different. So we teach kids how to, go out and film, edit video, that sort of stuff. Um, Bangarang, Rufio. you know, Crazy story. I don't know if you're actually from. So the city that I'm from, the actor that played Rufio in the movie is from the same town I'm from. All right. So someone asked, "Our short?" Okay, here we go. Our shorts covering here. I mean, I don't know. There's no real way to know what I thought. And that doesn't necessarily. But when we saw uh, this thing really start taking off, you know, in that huge candle, it wouldn't surprise me to see, um, that maybe some shorts got out. Um, I don't think, I don't believe all the shorts got out, but the one thing about these high volume days, and I'll say this too, 200 and, 70 million volume, right? Today. Well, the short interest on this stock was somewhere around 40 million shares. It makes it kind of hard to see, when someone did cover because there's already been 270 million shares sold today. So it absolutely is possible that shorts could have bought their positions out. But the other thing that happens too is, as some shorts, buy out and get and unload their position, there's always someone else that comes in and calls the top and says, "Oh, this is it. I'm going to short this down. This stock's up way too much. It's already up over 100% this week," and they pile in, and then now you have new shorts, right? And I think that's what you're seeing with, if anyone that follows the Ortex data or any of that type of stuff, you see that shares get returned, but then new shares get lent out, and so it kind of just keeps going. Just looking at the iBorrow desk earlier today, it showed that there was 150,000 shares available. Um, and right now it's still showing 150,000. At one point, it was at 300,000, so it looks like maybe some people kind of covered, but more people piled back in, and that's kind of what I was talking about. So now, even though those shares get borrowed, it doesn't necessarily means they're being used, right? So people could borrow shares and not use them. It's kind of how that iBorrow desk works. So looking back at this level two, um, $21 seems to be our new support. Let me see something real quick. I gotta respond to this email. All right. Um, I do meme videos on FCPX. I'm assuming that's a stock ticket, right? Um, I'm not familiar with it if it is, but I actually did one for CLOV. I posted. Okay, I'm gonna have to check you out. Post. Let me know what your Reddit thing is. I'll check it out and look at it. Um, One of my favorite movies, Hook. Absolutely, that was one of mine too growing up. Let me see this real quick. I'm getting a ton of text messages right now too. All right, let's see where we're at here. I'm gonna just try to see where we're. Final Cut Pro X. Okay, yeah, yeah. So I do video production. So we start the just to kind of while we're sitting here doing this, I'll kind of talk a little bit about that. So um, we start the year at with iMovie, just to kind of give them the basics of editing, teach them how to use the cameras, all that kind of stuff. And then usually after like the first quarter and they have the basics down, we'll transition into Final Cut Pro. Um, Now my neighbor's calling me. Hold up one second. Do you think the spike was from SEC passing TAFJ 69420? I'm not familiar with that one, but I'm sure it is. And if that's my tits are effing jacked, absolutely. Coach, what's the SI borrowing rate now for CLOV? Let me see. So, let me put that up there. Right now, and this is just off the I borrow desk, is it's showing that the fee for borrowing is at 4.5%. Um, just as an example, looks like we started the day today at no, today's the 8th. This doesn't even look like it's updating it. Okay. Um. So yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here with that. I guess that information that I gave wasn't right. My I borrow. Can someone else confirm? if that's correct. So I just looked at the iBorrow desk, and it looks like it's only giving me information from June 7th. I thought I was looking at June 8th when I refreshed it, and this is old info. Um, okay. Let me see here. Did the short squeeze happen for Clove yet? No, not at all. I don't believe so. Um, I don't think so. At least, I mean, we had a ton of you have this gamma squeeze that all these options that needed to be bought for the gamma squeeze. As things came into the money, we also had a ton of support and momentum that came in off Wall Street Bets and other subreddits that I think is also contributing to this volume. But with the amount of volume we're seeing today, 290 million, shorts absolutely could have covered. I'm not saying they all did, and even if some did cover, I'm sure more piled in because that's kind of what's been happening with everything. So. For me at least, as a long term holder, uh, at this point, I'm looking to hold this thing up to 30. And I'm thinking that the squeeze hasn't even kicked off. I saw some really good posts the other day that was kind of explaining that, you know, where this stock got shorted from. Shorts aren't really going to feel the pressure to cover until we get the stock up above like the $22, the $25 range, the $30 range. At that point, I can see where shorts are getting pressured to really cover because they're losing money. But I also don't like to I don't know. My speculation is just as good as yours. And with this amount of volume, shorts absolutely could have went in there and covered some of their shares too. You think if they were smart, they would have. But as you can see from what's happening all around the market, it doesn't seem like they're very smart. Um, let's see here. Yeah, so the Fintel data, I don't know why it's not updating right now. I don't know, and iBorrow Desk isn't. Um, you know what? I'm gonna check even like for GME. I always track the go on that Stonko tracker, and that one's updating right now. And I thought they get their information from iBorrow Desk too, which is kind of weird. Um, Look at what's going on with some of these other stocks. So it looks like I've been sitting here talking about this other stuff. It looks like GME found that resistance. It wasn't able to break above, and 350 is really going to be a huge breakout level there. Clove, on the other hand, it looks like we're kind of consolidating, right? We came back. RSI dropped below 70, like I was talking about a little bit a while ago. Now maybe we should be able to see another break up, and that would be absolutely amazing. We're looking to pass 2350 right now, and then up here past 25 would probably be where we really get parabolic. In terms of major resistance levels, maybe 22 right now. That's about all I could see, and it looks like we have some strong support at 2150, which should be awesome. Let's see. All right. I gotta check on my GME options real quick because I have. If you're just joining me, I do have. I have some further out calls and shares on GME, but I have a 5:30 call that expires this week, and it is still underwater. So sometimes when these stocks move up, right, and they move up fast, especially like Clove is today, or like GME's just been on multiple green days, you get more open interest on the option chain, which drives up the Vega or the IV, which affects the Vega, which will make you, even if your stock is way out of the money, like my GameStop, I have a 5:30 call, which is still $200 away, but sometimes those things will get in the money anyways, and the premium will go up just because of the IV. and how it affects the Vega on those options contracts. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for right now, is just to be able to get out of that 5:30 call because it does expire on Friday. Um, let's see here. So at what point does the delta for an option reach one? So there's a lot that goes into it, and implied volatility kind of affects it too. So basically, I like to look at the delta as a probability, right? So, based on the IV and how volatile this stock is saying, they're saying that there is a 72% chance, basically, because I clicked on the $18 strike. There's a 72% chance right now that it will end up inside of $18. $18 will be in the money this week. Then you come out to like the $22 based on the option chain and the IV and everything. It's saying there's a 60% chance that $22 will finish in the money. So that's kind of the way. I know that's not a perfect explanation, but that's kind of the way I look at it. If you were to look at a stock that's not as volatile, like maybe Disney or something like that, as soon as that stock is like $1 in the money, it's probably at a 1.0 delta. But something that's really volatile, we might have to get further out. You figure right now we're trading at 21 right here, and this 11, almost a $10 difference is what's making this be at almost like a 1 delta. So the $11 call is kind of at I would say a 1 delta. It's right now it's moving between 0.96 and 0.97. So $10. So maybe we need to get to 32 to really get the entire chain to get to a 1.0, is what I'm thinking. I guess I've been inactive for too long on my Street Smart Edge, which doesn't make sense because I'm sitting here. Let's see. Do you think algos are trying to pin it at 21? In terms of the option chain, I would say no. And the only reason is these don't expire until next week. That could be the case, but I think this is more, we had our run up, we were really overbought. You have a lot of people that jumped in today for the very first time, that are probably taking profits right now. So we're getting a little bit of a cool down mode. And I'll just back this out real quick just so you can see. And I know, let me just, this isn't very, yeah, price is higher, but in terms of what happened yesterday, we saw some similar price action, like, where we had this big run up here, and then we pulled down almost back to VWAP, right? Which is just the stock cooling off, and then we kept running. And, same thing here. We had a big run up, and we had a big pullback, even bigger pullback, and then we continued to run. So I wouldn't take like these red candles right now as anything, you know, um, it looks to me like we're probably trying to get a bounce, off this VWAP, but we are losing a lot of support levels right now too. So be interested to see if this thing holds at this VWAP, which I explained yesterday is volume weighted average price. Um, Yesterday it dipped below and then it came back out. We could see that here. We also see GameStop's doing the same thing. And so now there's, like I said, whenever I see like a big drawdown on the stock I'm in, I like to look at some other stocks in the market. And it looks like GameStop is doing the same thing. S&P 500 starting to draw down. BNGO's been drawing down. AMC just tanked a lot from 58 to 56. So I'm just kind of looking around the market, and it seems like this is more of a market-wide pull down right now, and not necessarily something that is specific to CLOV. So I think that's even more reason to kind of be bullish and just know that, like, wherever we kind of find support at, we still should have room to run. We're trading at 3 times the market cap right now in terms of volume. At some point, I would imagine that this thing will kind of get legs and really take off some more, and at least try to test this 23 and this 25. Um, is it possible this can go to 100? I think anything's possible. You know, it's really tough to say. Like I said, I was absolutely wrong about AMC. I didn't think it can get that high, especially with the float that high. We have a much smaller float. We're playing with a 100 million float as compared to 500 million, which makes it easier to move a stock price. You know, the smaller the float, the easier you can get bigger movements. So I think that's working in our favor in terms of volume. And I keep comparing to AMC because that was like the big stock that I watched last week go on a 100% run, right? Um, so, and that's the only reason I'm making that comparison, and because I was absolutely wrong about it. You know, but anyways, uh, you know, AMC's still looking to push that too. And they had a lot of retail momentum, and they still do. I mean, there's still a huge community of following behind it, and they haven't hit 100. So I think, is it doable? Yeah, but I don't really like to set like lofty goals, right? I mean, today I came into today thinking maybe we could hit 18. Shit, we blew all the way to 25, and you know now I'm even more excited. I wasn't prepared for this. I knew that it could happen, but I always like to set my expectations a little bit lower. I think, you know, if we can get up to like 30 ish, and that's when shorts start covering, anything's possible. I mean, with a 40% short interest, and if we still have retail piling in, I could see us doubling during an actual short squeeze. You know, and if the short squeeze kicks off at 30, 35, 40, and we double from there, maybe we get to 80. But again, I'm not an expert at all. I don't have a ton of experience in short squeezes, and I don't think anybody can tell you that they do. Um, you know, and anyone that may even have experience in a different short squeeze, you know, there's so many different factors. You know, we just experienced a gamma squeeze. Our chain ends at 22. Our float's 100 million. Any other short squeeze has a ton of other different factors going for it too. So I think anything's possible though. This is a legit good company with revenue and nowhere near bankruptcy. Only why I give a target of 100. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Um, I think the stock, and I had said this earlier on the stream, I think that the stock has the potential to be trading at $100 down the road without a squeeze, right? So, this stock, as it begins to capture more of the market that it's in, and their AI really kicks off and starts being used and replicated, I think that Clove itself is going to be $100 stock one day. But in terms of the squeeze, there's so much more. You know, when you start talking about a short squeeze, to me, fundamentals of the company go out the window. It's just more about the upwards pressure that, you know, the option chain helps provide with leverage, that retail share buyers provide, all that stuff combined, mixed with your float size, that's going to help, you know, ramp it up. And really, it just has to do with once the shorts start getting squeezed out and buying, you know, how much liquidity is there and how fast is this thing going to rise. So, you know, Clove being a good company doesn't necessarily make it um, going to go to a higher squeeze level. You know, I think fundamentals get thrown out the window in terms of a squeeze. But now, Clove being a good company is great reason to hold this stock beyond 20 right now because, you know, I don't believe the squeeze has come in yet. And so that gives me the reason to think, like, why should I sell now? If I sell now, I might miss out on the squeeze if it hasn't happened yet. And if I sell now, I might miss out on the good long term growth of this company. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. Um, one second. Let me. If anyone came in here late, please like the video, subscribe. If you're enjoying this, I'm gonna try to keep doing these videos all week as long as my kids allow me to. I haven't heard from them yet, so I think everything's going good. And as long as people are still watching, right? So if you guys are watching, you're liking the videos, I'll keep doing this. I don't care how many people are in here, even if it's just me and 5 other people. I'll have fun. I'm gonna be watching these stocks anyways, so I don't mind streaming while we're doing it. I like to talk. The only thing I want to figure out next is how to do like a guest or somebody, because even though I like to talk, I also like to converse with people. So I feel like I'm conversing when I'm speaking to the chat, but at the same time, I'd love to figure out a way to get like some other little boxes on here where we could have, some other people come in and talk and share their knowledge too. Because um, I'll probably say it a million times. I'll keep repeating myself, but I am in no means an expert at all. I'm learning every day. And I think that everybody should be trying to learn every day. Anyone who thinks they know it all are just cutting themselves short, right? And one of the reasons I like doing this is because I feel like in order to master anything, you need to kind of fully, deeply immerse yourself in it. And by me sitting here talking about it and explaining things, and even someone asked the question about the $30 thing, and even though I read it a couple times. Um, I was wrong. So I learned from you guys that, okay, it's 90 days. So, like I said, I mean, I think in order to master anything, master stocks, master whatever you choose, talking about it, reading about it, doing it, one of the best ways to learn is to just jump in and do it. At least for me, I'm more hands on. But that's the other reason why I enjoy this. Um, Someone said, "What do you do?" So I'm a high school teacher and also a high school football coach. And this is just fairly new. So I started teaching. I spent 15 years in the printing industry, and then I started teaching about 4 years ago. 4 or 5 years ago, I made a little career change. Felt like it was better for me, less stress, better for my family. I love it. I've been coaching for 20 years, so I already like kind of, you know, the teaching aspect of it and everything. And so I made that move. Had to go back to school, obviously to get a credential. Got my master's degree. And now, actually, just because I enjoy reading and I enjoy going to school, I've been working on my getting my doctorate for about almost 2 years now. So I'm almost done. I got about 6 months left. I'm working on my dissertation right now, and so soon I should be a PhD, hopefully, as long as everything goes good. Um, Bought the option playbook you suggested a while back. Absolutely. I mean, I've read a ton of books on options, but that one, the options playbook, I think I showed it in one of the videos. That thing is great. It makes it very easy to understand options. It lays it out in layman's terms. It's very easy to figure out. I'll grab it in a little bit and maybe show it on the screen and everything, just so anyone else could, if you want to buy it. I'll even maybe share the link in this video at some point. Um, is CLOV crashing? So again, I'll go back and look at So like I said, I like to kind of look at you know the market as a whole. One, we're holding VWAP for support, which is strong. GME lost VWAP. The SPY's going down. BNGO. I'll look over here. You know, AMC actually looks like it's bouncing back. But I guess my point is, no, I do not believe CLOV is crashing. I think that the market itself is just coming down. Um, and one strong, signal for us, as opposed to some other stocks, is we are still trading above volume weighted average price, which is VWAP. Um, you know, Yesterday we even dipped below it, and then on the next candle bounced back, which would be considered more of a soft bounce. But right now, it's looking to, if we can hold this candle here and rebound, that would be considered more of a hard bounce. But I don't necessarily think CLOV is crashing. It looks like the entire market is kind of pulling down a little bit right now. So I hope that answers your question. Hope it drops to 19. I'll buy more. You got that. You know, I mean, yeah, buying the dip is always good. It's just there's no way to know. And honestly, I mean, I said this earlier. We gapped up huge. We went on a big run. We're kind of cooling off on RSI now too, though. I'd want to look to stay above 5, but we went through this yesterday. You know, we dropped below into this red on the MACD yesterday. If we look back just to zoom out a little bit, we had this whole period yesterday where we were in this MACD for about an hour, and then we slowly rallied back. So, I don't think this is over. I don't think that this is, and here we finished right below the MACD, which is still, I mean, the VWAP, which is still fine. Like, I don't, I wouldn't say this is crashing. I mean, the stock is still up huge on the day. The one thing that sucks, and yesterday my thing was all about trying to figure out how to get into, yeah, sorry, I got to figure out how to get my Street Smart back on. I'm going to do that in a second too. But the one thing that I kind of mentioned yesterday about, man, I lost my train of thought. My Charles Schwab app just turned off. Let me get that back on real quick because that's where I was getting the level 2 from. And I think I just left it stagnant for too long. Let's see if I can get this back in. Okay. Street Smart Edge. See, this is like a web app that you have to launch in their cloud because they don't make it for Mac. I'm on a Mac, and so I guess I got to go in there and click around every once in a while, or it auto logged me out. So it should pop back up right now, and hopefully we'll be able to get that little layout back up with the level 2 data. Um, but anyways, one thing that I'm used to. Yesterday I had said this was my first day doing TradingView. I did it because I wanted to, kind of get the stream to move faster. And TradingView's web based. Well, I'm used to seeing the percent change up at the top, and I was trying to figure out how to do that, like to see like how much is CLOV up today, and it doesn't show me that. So that's kind of driving me crazy right now. I usually want to see that a little bit more. Sorry about that, guys. This should move out of the way in a second. Let's see here. Yeah, let me just move that over here. There we go. Looks like it's coming back on right now. And we should be able to get our option data back up. Okay, level 2 is back. Sorry about that. And it looks like, yeah, everything else looks like it's back up too. I hate when this stuff happens because then I have to. There we go. All right. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought. Let me see in here. So, how long do you think CLOV will drop before it picks up? I don't know. Hopefully, we're bouncing back now. I think anytime you try to time the market like that and guess, it's really hard. I mean, there's no real technical analysis to look at right now to really, if some major support. I mean, like usually you would look at like I said, VWAP, which is volume weighted average price, is usually a level of support or resistance. We fell below it without a lot of volume, which would tell me that we should see a reversal soon. Usually, if I was day trading this, because we kind of fell through with not a lot of volume, compared to some of these other volume candles we've seen, this was on the smaller end, and we would see a reversal and push back through. So this could be the low. Also down here kind of seems to be our range for the day where, based on volume, the volume weighted average price. So it could drop down to 15 and then kind of, hold there. Um, I try not to time things too much. Like, if I feel like I'm getting a discount on something, I'd rather just buy it because sometimes if you wait too long for the dip, you'll never get it. Sometimes being patient is even better. If you wait for the dip, you'll get in at a better price. But I'm not sure. Um, it's lunchtime. They always sell for tendies by this time. Watch for a pickup after. So you must be on the East Coast. It's breakfast time over here. I'm in California. Let's see. I'm for another 50. Do not be afraid of the lunchtime drop. Okay. Are the hedgies liquidating their there are other positions to cover for CLOV and GME, which is causing an overall dip in the market. That's been a lot of the speculation, that I've been reading, like on Superstock and some of the other ones. A lot of what the speculation is that once this kind of whole, let me see if I can get this back up here. Where I had it. Once these squeezes really kick off, and not anything close to what we're at right now, but if GameStop ends up pushing up and jumping up above, like into the thousands, which I think is absolutely possible, um, if there really is more than 100% short interest. If not, I'm not sure where we'll actually see that thing go. And same thing with CLOV, to push up to 100, anything's possible. But as these numbers go up, and if hedge funds end up getting margin called, I think the thinking behind it is that these hedge funds have, billions of dollars in the market. So if you're getting margin called, that means that, whoever you're borrowing these shares from who is basically lending you money, right? So whoever you're borrowing it from, now you owe them, and they're going to come in and liquidate you to cover what you own because you're in over your head. Same way that a retail investor would get margin called trading on margin. If it's never happened to you, that's great. But if it has, you know what I'm talking about. So if you're in a margin call and you don't meet those requirements, after a couple of days, they'll come in and just liquidate something that you own to get that cash back. So um, if that is to happen to these hedge funds, um, I could absolutely see if they're getting their other positions liquidated and sold off, that would cause the market to kind of fall down. Or it could be like you're saying, that maybe if they need to cover and buy back this stock, that they're liquidating other things. I mean, it's all speculation, but I think it's kind of a good speculation. Okay, you think there's going to be a huge boom in commodities? I don't really know too much about commodities. I've never really traded in them or dealt with them, so I can't really answer that 100%. I have a buddy of mine who actually works in commodities, and I could ask him a little bit more about that. Maybe get back to you at another stream or something. But I don't know much about it. I really don't. Um, RSI. So right now RSI is pointing downwards, which is probably pretty typical considering how much we dropped. Right now we're touching about the 44 level. If you want to just look back at yesterday, just to see, as a comparison, I'll try not to stay there. So yesterday, it looks like we only kind of dipped down below there once. We hit like 49, and that was right before the late day run up. But I mean, just in my experience with, even watching some other stocks like GME or anything else as they cool back, now I'd say it looks like we're probably going to go down and test this $15 because we didn't get that bounce back through VWAP. And at some point, if this thing continues to go down, RSI works both ways, right? So 50 is your neutral. Anything above 70 is kind of in that overbought. Anything below 30 is oversold. If we do get down to this oversold level on this RSI indicator into 30, that would be a good indication too that it's probably time to bounce back, that things are going to start moving in the other direction. So this RSI goes up and down based on the volume and the price action and everything else, and how much buying and selling is happening. So I could absolutely see this thing kind of coming back, and at this point, now that it's coming down, that could end up being a resistance too whenever we hit this 30. We could drop down to 15. In terms of buying support, it looks like there's 22,000 buy wall at $17, which would be kind of cool, and that looks like where we bounced off, right? So, um, and also up here, if you remember, this was a while ago now, 25, there was a huge sell wall. Looks like we're starting to get a big buy wall forming at 17, so that could even turn into our new range. Hopefully, we start going up and make that push for 25 now. Bought in this morning at 1741. It was just at 24.93. It's all good though. I'm not entertaining selling till 30. Yeah, I think 30 is a good mark, right? I mean, I don't think there's any rush to try to get out of this stock today. Volume is still kind of, if you look at the candles, it's not like our volume is disappearing. We're still, the opening is usually the highest volume candle of the day. We actually surpassed it in two candles here, but other than that, everything looks kind of similar, on the 5 minute mark. It's not like volume's dropping off. So the interest is still here. And at this rate, 350 million, and we're only an hour and 45 minutes into the market. Um, you know, I wouldn't even be shocked to see us hit 700 million today. Um, okay, so this is crashing hard, says Zach. So Zach, only thing I could say is, and the whole market is going down. You look at GameStop, you look at the SPY. I'm looking at AMC right now over here, and it took an even bigger dip, but it's kind of pulling back. But I mean, this is typical, and this is very typical for stocks, not only stocks with these high volume and high increases. I wouldn't necessarily say it's crashing. Like if you look at where we were yesterday, this stock started at, ended the day yesterday at 12. We're still up $5 off of that, which is still huge on the day. That's almost a 50 from right now. If the day closed, that's a 50% gain from yesterday. So I wouldn't consider this crashing at all. If anything, this is consolidation. You're going to have people taking profits. We also know this is a heavily shorted stock, so you're going to see a lot of people shorting this stock as others are taking profits, trying to create that sort of panic that makes people feel like it's crashing and makes them want to sell. But I don't think this run is anywhere from over. For me, I'm still sitting on all my calls and all my shares and everything. I'm not kind of like somebody else just said in the chat. I'm not going to even entertain selling until we kind of surpass 30. And even then, I'll be looking to maybe just get back uh, a little bit of my initial investment in some of my calls and just let the rest ride. And I'm talking about letting a lot of it ride, like probably 90% of my position keep going because I see this having a lot more room for potential for growth. Um, if you guys are enjoying the video, go ahead and hit like. If it's your first time in here, subscribe. I'm going to try to keep doing this. Um, One thing I'm going to do right now, and I apologize, I'm going to leave this up, but I'm going to actually go check on my kids real quick, okay? So I want to make sure, and usually I think yesterday I ended the stream around 8:30, or I was supposed to. I'm going to keep this going a little while longer, but let me go double check and make sure everything's all good with them, and I'll be right back. If you hang on, I'll be back in about 5 minutes, okay? Let me see how I change this out. All right, I'm back. Thank you, anyone who stayed on. Actually, I apologize. I am going to kind of shut down probably at 8:30 in about 10 minutes right now. Depending on what I got, if I get tied up, I might even pop back on later on this afternoon, maybe for Power Hour or something. But I'll absolutely be back on tomorrow at 6 a.m. So if you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe, tell a friend. I want to get some more people in here. Kind of create more exposure and create more awareness about CLOV. And also, just so I think sometimes it helps, and it helps me too, sitting here, watching it with you guys and talking about it and everything. Because if I was sitting by myself, I might have even paper handed a little bit when it was getting up too high. But now I'm sitting here talking. I didn't even have the ability to, so I had force diamond hands today. Anyways, I'm enjoying it though. I'm having fun. I'm going to continue to do this while I'm off work, as long as people are coming on and liking it and watching it. Okay. Any other questions before I take off? Because I'm going to shut this down at 8:30, which is in about 9 minutes. But if anyone else has any other questions, okay. What do I think happens next? Well, it kind of looks to me like, and I don't want to call the bottom or nothing like that because I don't know, but if this candle holds and we break above here, we would want to finish this candle above 1786. So if we can hold anywhere above there and close this candle, we might be looking at a reversal. But at some point, this is going to reverse, right? So it could come down and hit down here and find support at 15. But we kind of already saw that there was a support level somewhere around $17. And it looks like even though it dipped below, it came back and found it. So this might be the reversal now. We might see some heavy resistance here around, this VWAP right here. Could be. A lot of times that could be a resistance level, but I don't know that we're going to see too much only because there wasn't a lot of volume in the pull down below VWAP. Usually, if you would have saw one of these big volume candles as you broke below it or broke above it, that's like a bullish sign or a bearish sign. This was like a regular volume passing through, so I don't know that we'll see too much resistance coming back. And I'm thinking we're going to go test these highs. I mean, I think it seems like we found the support at $17, and, that might be the bottom. And now we're going to look to make a run to test these highs. I would imagine that throughout the day. Now that originally we had blown out the option chain. Now we're not anymore. We're back at the $18 level. So our big kind of resistance level is probably going to be $20 because there's 10,000 calls going in the money there. Next major resistance will be 22 with 19,000 calls. And then we already saw that kind of the big resistance level was 25. So I think for sure we're going to get up and test 25 today, and then break through it. Price prediction for the end of the week. Man, I'm not good at this at all. I mean, sometimes I've been spot on and sometimes I've been entirely wrong. If you watched my video last night, I thought that today we were going to run up to 18 and then drop back to 15 and find support there. I was way off. But at this rate, in order to continue and sustain momentum and keep kind of rolling upwards like this, we're going to need to keep up this volume. If that happens and volume stays and the options chain kind of gets extended like I think it's going to, and at this point we hit 25 today, I wouldn't be surprised to see the option chain go to 50. To me, whatever they extend that option chain to is well within our grasp, right? So if they put the option chain out to 50, that means that we can easily hit 50 because we saw it today. We blew out the option chain and went and surpassed that 22 mark. So, I could see 50 in the week. I could also see us, consolidating too. Because one thing you got to remember, and I'll just quickly, I know some of you guys are watching the chart, but when you have a big run up like today, we went all the way up to 25. It wouldn't be, you know, these things don't have to happen in a day. It wouldn't be surprising for tomorrow we see a red candle, another red candle that gets smaller, another one, and maybe create a little bull flag going into next week where maybe we even end the week around 22 and then take off again. So, I mean, there's so many different scenarios that could play out. Um, if I was to give you a price target or something like that, I wouldn't feel right just because I have no idea. You know, speculation though, I think we will see some pullback at some point, but that's going to be off whatever the high ends up being. The high could end up being 25, or if we blow past 25 today and roll all the way up to 30, that pullback could come off 30. You know, um, so I hope that answers your question. You know, or maybe I just made it even more confusing. I don't know. Um, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the broadcast. Um, Glad to see some of the comments that you know loving the live stream. I'll be back tomorrow. I was so excited today. I started early. I started at 5:45 instead of 6 o'clock. Um, you know, and I'll try to keep it at a time so that it's you know consistent. So as of right now, it'll be 6 o'clock. We'll start at 6 a.m. tomorrow. You know, if something changes, I'll put it on there. Just make sure you subscribe. And I think if you hit that little bell too, then it'll like notify you when I put it up there and stuff. So that helps too. Um, but yeah, I'm glad everybody seems to be saying they enjoyed it. If you can help spread the word, Christian, what's up? Glad to see you made it in, man. Um, uh, a couple decent option calls. Okay, yeah. Before I sign off, I'll look at that real quick. I mean, the options are really expensive right now. So, you know, IV's high. The last time I checked, IV was at 300%, and I'm sure it's even higher now. Let me just pull up the IV real quick. So it looks like the IV, oh, it actually went down. So options are going to be a little bit more cheaper right now. So looking at the option chain right here for June, um, you know, there's not a huge difference between 340 and $4. If you were to buy, you know, let's say like in the money, maybe even, you know, or something like around here. If you bought this $19 strike for $4, that means you need to be at 23 by the end of the week. I think we're going to be past 23 by the end of the day. That being said, you can also do the same thing here, but now you need to be at 25.40 at the end of the week. So you're saving 60 cents or $60, but now you need to move a lot further. Um, but before we even get into that, earlier we had looked out because the IV was lower on some of these other option chains. So just to keep in mind. So the $19 one, we need to be at 23 by the end of next week. Okay. So it's going to cost us $400. If we wanted to be safer and go to July um, for $500, now I'm looking at the $20 strike. So for $500, um, we have to be $2 more ahead, but we're getting 39 days. Okay. So if you wanted to go with a safer call, I would say maybe somewhere like that. Let's also look at August though, because I know they have a higher, you know, so here, $400 for the $30 call. You need to get way further out, but you have 74 days for it to happen. And I think that this stuff is important because even though everybody wants to jump on something and for it to happen like instant gratification and I want to get my money right now, it doesn't always happen that way. And I can tell you from experience. I mean, I've been holding GameStop for almost 7 months now. So, you know, these things can take time. And while we get caught up in momentum and everything, these stocks are manipulated and they could always fall. And that's why sometimes it's better to go further out. And it doesn't really seem like there's a ton of difference. A lot of times, if you look at, you know, these same month and it's expiring in, you know what, 11 days, you should be able to get this a lot cheaper, but you can't right now because of all the momentum and the IV is high. So just taking a look at that, I think any of these options are good, especially while we're trading below 20 right now. It just depends on, how much you want to pay for that extra time premium, right? Me personally, $360 for this compared to, paying $500, $140 more, and you're getting yourself an extra 28 days is probably worth it. And then if you look at the same thing going out to August, I could pay even less, maybe more comparable. It's got to move further, but I'm getting 74 days out of it, and I think that's probably your safer place right now. And especially when we're looking at a price target that's going to blow way past 30, um, you know, I would say that's probably the safest play. I hope I answered your question. I hope I gave you some insight. Um, you know, and I do think if you're holding shares right now, that's obviously the safest way to go. But you almost like owe it to yourself to throw a little bit more leverage in the game, right? I'm not saying go crazy and buy 100 calls or nothing like that. But even if you own 100 shares, right now you're getting the price action of 100 shares. You could double that price action by buying, you know, for $400, you could now control 200 shares, the 100 you already own, and this one contract, and that'll help double your gains. And that's the leverage that options provide. And it's not too pricey right now. I mean, 200% IV, 265% is pricey, but if you go into the July and the August, you're only paying 176. I say only, that's still high IV, but at the same time, we're looking at a stock that we're expecting to explode right now. There's a lot of momentum in this. We're at 386 million volume, and the day just begun. So, we're on pace to hit a billion in volume today, which is insane. That's 10 times the float. Um, all right. So I gotta go. I gotta go get to my kids and get some stuff taken care of. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. You know, I'll be back tomorrow. If I can, I'll try to jump on later on for Power Hour. But if not, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. If you subscribe and hit the bell and everything, you'll get notified if I do jump on later. Thanks for coming. Thanks for the support. I'll see you guys tomorrow.